Hey ho everyone, Ginger Gargoyle here with another video. It's not a haul video. This is the green background. That means it's a follow-up video. Oh, excuse me, or a how-to video. I was expecting to do this as a how-to, but I think I'm going to do it as a follow-up. Okay, this is taking a look at the Simple Magic, Simple Magic Crafts Pizza for Two cutting die set, and in particular we're looking at the box. Okay, now they had said that you were going to need the extra wide platform. What did I just do with my die? Platform for this die because it is wider than your 8 inches. As a matter of fact, here's a standard cut platform. Okay, and you can see that it hangs off by quite a bit. Well, it's also longer. Okay, but it does hang off by quite a bit. So this will never fit through just a regular 6-inch machine. You've got to have a machine that'll take an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. Well, let me rephrase that. You need a machine that'll take an A4 size paper. This sheet is 8.5 by 11. I originally, when I did these boxes, I did them on this cardstock. All right, and this is the extra heavyweight cardstock that I pick up, I had my daughter pick up for me actually at Hobby Lobby. Okay, you could probably get away with the heavyweight cardstock. I don't have any of the regular weight cardstock. Okay, but if we meet this up to edge, you can see that you have plenty of room here. Remember that an A4 size sheet of paper is 8.25 inches wide, where this is 8.5 inches wide. But it is short on this end by a good bit, because while this is only 11 inches, being an American 8.5 by 11, the A4 is 8.25 by 11 and 7/8, 5/8, something like that. It's bigger, and that would help take that up. But I found a solution. You can use a 12 by 12 sheet, and you'll have extra. Okay. Or if you only have the 8.5 by 11, you can still use an 8.5 by 11. In fact, I made several boxes using the 8.5 by 11. But I did find a few problems. Number one, the tabs on the front tend to break. See? Okay. And I think that's got more to do with the weight of the paper than anything else, because the die itself has score marks that it leaves an impression. If you have an impressions pad, use your impressions pad. If you have it from Sizzix, I don't know about any other pads, so okay, but you can see that there are score lines in here. Okay, so there are cut lines and there are score lines, and the score lines are not quite as tall as the cut lines. Okay, but you can see that there is definitely a difference. This corner is tricky, but this is supposed to be a score, and mine is a little rough, so it scores but it cuts it. It's really weird. And what I was finding was that it was cutting all the way through. It wasn't just cutting a little bit, it was cutting all the way through. So that was driving me bananas. And then, let's see, you get these two flaps here. Let's see, can I open this one up all the way? I didn't use the ink on this one. Okay, so if you open this up all the way, oh, this popped. Okay, all right. And what I do is, I don't know if you can see that little triangle there. Okay, that's what makes this edge on the bottom, but the fold on the top. I found if I put a little bit of glue underneath that, it would stick. I popped it open when I pulled open the box. Okay, but again, you got to be careful of this little ridge right here. All right, then this will glue down and this will stay in place. These two little flaps get glued to the back. In general, that's the only gluing you have to do on this box, are these two little flaps on the inside on the back of the cover. If you ever order a pizza, take a look at how the box is made. This is the same basic principle. Then this folds in here, this folds in here. Okay. Goes up towards the front. And then this, even though it's shorter and it doesn't have the little tabs that are meant to fit into those little slats, it still holds in there fairly well. Okay, but like I said, this one busted. That's why that's like that. This one I made it, and I tried taping these corners to try to hold that in, and for some reason it just didn't work. I'm not sure why this is not closing like it was. All of these boxes I made last night, they're fairly quick and easy to make. The hardest part is prepping this corner. Okay, so you can see varying ways that I made them last night. I made 5 of those boxes. And then today, I thought I can use a 12 by 12 sheet. So I went and got some papers. All right. And I just laid my die on there, went, okay, it needs to be at least that big. And I added some extra space and I cut it off. All right. And I cut out my pattern. This one is only glued on the back. But I found that the paper was so thin that the score lines cut the paper. Oh my gosh. Okay. So I was like, well, that's kind of sad. So I used the washi tape to hold everything down. I glued the back flaps in place. Well, first I glued down, or I taped down all the score areas. Any place that was going to get scored, I put some tape on there. All right. After it was cut. I did not do it beforehand. I waited till afterwards. Then I glued the back flaps on. Okay, these 2 back flaps. And then I wound up putting tape over the top just to kind of make them look a little more cohesive. Okay. Then I did not glue down these front corners. These front corners were giving me issues. Just like this lid is giving me an issue. Okay, but I found that if I folded it this way and then this way, because these should fold back the other direction, okay, and I folded these sides this way, and then I folded just this. Use your bone folder because you're going to need to crease this right up into this corner. Okay, but you can see I inked the die before I cut so I could tell where that corner was. I highly recommend that. I highly recommend inking this corner, okay, or these corners when you're doing this so you can see where that triangle is. Because when you are folding this triangle, you want to make sure that you are getting from point to point folded. And from point to point folded, you want that corner crisp. Okay. Then this folded in, just like this. Now when I chose the paper, I was like, cool, I got a stripe. But which way do I want the stripe to go? Do I want the stripe to go side to side or top to bottom? But when this, so I grabbed 2 sheets of this paper. But when this turned out as flimsy as it was, I doubled my paper. Okay, let's see, where did I put? Okay, apparently I have misplaced my extra little piece. But what I did was I measured it out so that this time the stripes went top to bottom, and you can see that I re-inked it again. All right, and then I doubled it. I took the piece left over from this box, which went side to side, and I glued it down onto the back of my page because this is single-sided paper. All right, and then I folded over the other side and glued that down. And then I simply took washi tape, okay, after I cut this down so that it was about the size that I would need, okay, a little bit bigger. And I just put washi tape over that seam and ran it through my Sizzix machine a couple of times just to make sure it was well stuck. All right, just to kind of cover up that seam. I didn't have to, it looked fine. I just wanted something to add a little pizzazz. But I did not glue this down. And the reason I didn't glue this down was so that I can show you how to fold this. Okay, first thing you do is you bend everything this way. Okay, you bend all your straight seams towards the inside. Okay, then this one I bent towards the outside. This one I bent this way, and then the other way. And you want to make sure these are crisp, so you need to have some sort of a bone folder. Okay, then these would have gotten glued on the inside, but I found I didn't really need to do that with this box because there was just enough stiffness from the glue between the 2 pieces of paper to allow it to go through. And you can see there's these little snips in. That is just so it fits in the front of that. And looky there. That is a very pretty box. I like this box. This is a nice box. I'll be using this for making little doodads and putting them in there so that they are all ready to go. And I already have them die cut, because if it's already die cut, I'm much more likely to use it. One little hint, go all the way down to the bottom with your tape. I stopped short and didn't realize it when I cut it out. I could have went up a little bit more. Okay guys, that's it. I will talk to you all later. Bye. Oh, let's see. I used, this is my tape. Okay, I used the thicker one. I could have used the thinner one. I used Memento ink. And I used the glue from scrapbookingmadesimple.com. All right. And I had even tried the glue stick from Simon Says Stamp when I glued the pieces together. Okay, this I found did not work as good as this. So, yeah, that's it. I'll talk to you all later. Bye-bye.